In the video I posted of Chase on this same date where I worked him in the arena, he was having a lot of problems being sent on his come-by side, which is the harder side for him. We had spent quite a few days working on pushing stock off the feed and driving, so he was not in the mindset to fetch anymore, and fetching is harder for him. So in order to have a little bit more success, I pushed him a little bit in the arena, and then I decided to bring him back into the small area to try to work on the same things. There are no differences in the technique. Everything I do in the open or in a bigger area is the same as I do in a smaller area. It's just easier, and the dog makes less mistakes in a smaller area. So right here he comes off the fence and I get onto him. The red arrow is showing you that he should go straight out for my pressure, but he dodges pressure a little bit and goes on the away side. So I get him stopped and send him again on the come by. The green arrow shows you where I want him to go. Unfortunately, a lot of times on the come by side he turns his back towards the stock. He gets a little close there, so I toss my little piece of, I have a little piece of hose in my hand. I toss my little piece of hose at him, because once he's on the backside of cattle, I can't influence him as easily, and I just want to show him that I can still have that influence on him. So once I get him stopped, he's kind of in his down. He does that little thing where he doesn't want to get up, but I'm really proud of him because I've got it to the point where he will just move off my pressure now. So I send him come by. He turns his back to the cattle here in this corner. So I just keep walking at him and putting pressure on him. That's why I'm clapping my two little pieces of hose together. So I'm increasing the pressure on him, putting pressure on that shoulder. There he goes. So the main thing with him is he's very easy to send on the away. He works further off the cattle on the away side, and I need to get him to work with the same efficiency on the come-by side. Dogs are left-handed or right-handed just like people are, so it may always be a struggle for him. So see, I'm just pushing him out off the cattle, and once he gives to my pressure, I let him go. I'm not going to really harp on him right now about turning the wrong direction before he goes the right direction. So until I tell him there, he should continue in the direction that I've sent him. So once I give him a there, that gives him permission to bring the cattle to me or continue on the line wherever the cattle are already headed. This is much more comfortable on the away, comfortable going into that tight space and getting control of the cattle and moving them along. So anytime he turns in, I'm just going to press on him. I do give a verbal correction. I usually say or hey. And then once he's stopped, I can redirect him. So I'm going to step into that shoulder. There you go. And see how he turns off. I know it's a small area, but he can still be out along the fence. He can still give these cattle space to move, space to get away from him. He doesn't have to work them real close. This right here is called an inside flank. So I'm sending him come by, which is the same direction I've been asking him to go, but I'm just calling him inside in between me and the cattle to send him around. Right there, so inside flank. And then right here, see how much nicer his away is naturally. He just automatically turns, he gets out off of them, and then he works his way around. So the goal would be to get his come-by side looking identical to the away side. That's really nice right there as long as he keeps on going. But he doesn't, he starts to shoulder in, so I put a little pressure on him. So I put a little pressure on him there, but he didn't really give too much, but I let him keep going. That was nice right there. See how he turned off the cattle to start his flank? just got to keep him going. So he gets to a certain point and then he wants to turn back on the away side and go the other direction. So I just have to be in a position to keep him going. Right here he's struggling. There he goes. His default is always to turn to that away side and try to go that way instead of going the come by direction. So once he gets on the other side and he does it nicely, I tell him there, let him walk up, let him have his cattle and work a little bit. If they're slow or he's a little bit unsure, I tell him get him up, push him up. I might make a sh or a ch sound. So right there, he was just a little too close, so I kind of tossed my little piece of hose at him. I'm not trying to hit him. I'm really trying to get it to land right in his path so that he startles a little bit and he darts away from it. And then I just get him stopped so I can redirect him. Right here, he kind of blows me off and he goes really flat on the flank. So instead of letting him continue to work, I say, hey, 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 and I block him from the cattle until he stops. That's what I want to see from the dog when I have to give a correction. So once he stops, then I can redirect him. And right here, he's playing his little I want to lay down game. So I just continue to pressure him until he goes. Pressure on that shoulder. Now he hesitated a little bit, so that's I think why that cow kicked, but she did miss him. So sending him away, you see how nice and square he is. He's going to be out on the fence. He's not going to turn in early on these cattle like he does on the come-by side. So that's what I mean about a dog being left or right-handed. Right there, that was a nice flank. He turned out off the cattle. He's nice and wide. He may be a little off contact, but I'm giving him a lot of praise here. Good boy, good boy. Get around is encouraging him. So if they look a little unsure, I might give the come by again or tell them get around, just to kind of encourage them and not give them a correction. Only save the corrections for when they turn in too early or they're not listening. And since that was such a good rep, I'm just going to stop it right there.
Hey, good boy.